Welcome to the workshop on computer aided design with Autocad. So this is going to be a 2-day workshop. We will be discussing how to use Hatch, or we can quickly cover it before we proceed to the today's session as well. So for example, let's quickly open one of the drawings we covered from yesterday. So as you can see, this is a hatch I have created for a particular room. So in order to create a hatch, what you can do is if you are in your home tab, you can see a rectangle with a hatch. This icon lets you fill an enclosed area or the selected objects with hatch pattern or fill. So what happens is when you select this icon, so it lets automatically picks up some enclosed spaces. So you can select the enclosed spaces and these areas are automatically hatched. Or you can like select these regions based on the boundaries you have predefined, and AutoCAD will automatically add hatch to these boundaries. And once you have set up a hatch layer, what you can do is you can select this by block or by the layer, the color that you have given, or you can choose colors. So, like here I am choosing a blue color or a black color, or for example such as white color, or in some cases you can choose a gradient and you can choose a red color, or you can choose user defined. When you go for user defined, uh, it lets you like set origin and match properties, and you have to close the hatch creation to define certain hatch properties. So mostly I prefer using solids if it is a general hatch I'm adding to. For example, if we are using certain hatch properties based on the material we use, such as let's say if it is a steel angle, or if it is a, let's say, like a concrete material, or if it is used for roof properties, or if it is used as a box element, or if it is used to define brick elements, we will use properties based on the hatch patterns. If it is a general region, such as in this case it is a room and it doesn't have any special purpose to it, so I am adding a hatch that is a solid in region. If you look to the left, for example, for the general manager room, we have defined a like a vertical hatch for like different from a diagonal hatch for a meeting room. So why have we defined a certain pattern to this room? So this is in with reference to the floor plan and the material used for the floor plan. So to distinguish the kind of floor used in the general room's walkway from the finish used in the meeting room and general manager room, we are using a different hatch properties here. And then we are using a diagonal general hatch and then a vertical hatch to just distinguish or add distinguish or difference between the properties between a certain enclosed space. So you can use this hatch and then you can select it, and then what you can do is you can probably like stretch it, or let's say like change in shape using the snap properties. Hope this answered your question on how to use hatch based on the topics from yesterday. So are there any questions left from yesterday's topics?
Thank you, Girish. I think there are no questions now.
Okay,
We start the session.
we can start topics for the day too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in today's session, the topics we are going to cover are like it is more yesterday's were yesterday's topic are more relevant to the technical side or the design side of the AutoCAD workspace or the model space. And in today's topic, we are going to learn how to present our drawings in a presentable fashion, as well as like to produce clear and accurate drawings. In order to do that, for example, we are going to learn certain concepts which will enable us to produce clean and error-free drawings. Some of those topics are going to be view settings. So we are going to start our today's discussion by learning what are the workspace features offered to us in AutoCAD, and how do we manage our view settings, or how can we navigate through drawings in AutoCAD. If you have a large or a mega project that you are working using CAD space, you need to learn the view settings and the navigation toolbar in order to walk through your drawing to make sure that you understand like the elements are located in the right place in your drawings. And in order to produce like to minimize your work effort, for example, if you create a staircase or a door element in one of your drawings and you proceed to another drawing, and you have to reuse certain content from your previous drawing, and you need to learn certain attributes such as groups and blocks defined in AutoCAD that will enable you to define, write, or recreate content from one workspace to another without having you to rework on the same model elements time and again. So we will learn the properties of using like AutoCAD features such as group and block, and learn how to combine our model elements to minimize our modeling efforts. When we discuss about minimizing the modeling efforts and producing efficient drawings, what we will be discussing is external references and how to link or extract model elements from a file saved in your local space or in the cloud feature of AutoCAD. We will discuss the external references tab used in AutoCAD. Once we compare the features offered by AutoCAD that lets us reuse the content, we will compare drawings. One of the new feature offered in AutoCAD starting 2019 version. So we will be using the compare drawings feature to compare the progress or track the changes made in two different drawings, and then we will be learning how to mark the revisions made in AutoCAD drawings. Similarly, we will be learning how to produce shared views from our model space to the cloud feature of AutoCAD, that is A360, that lets us reuse certain content or view the progress of our model over the time in a cloud feature that is saved for time compared to your local disk or your, for example, the file you save in your local disk is local to only your computer. If you change your device or if you have to relocate your system, what happens is there is a high probability that you might lose certain work or effort you did for your project. So to avoid losing data or let's say like loss of like modeling efforts over a project, what we do is save or share views to the cloud-based feature of AutoCAD, that is the A360. So we will be covering these topics based on AutoCAD, and then once we finish discussing these topics, as a final winding up part of today's and yesterday's workshop session, we will be learning the advantages and limitations of AutoCAD as a modeling tool, and then what are the different features that has evolved by the same company Autodesk using different softwares that lets us use AutoCAD as a modeling tool, as well as evolve our modeling efforts to an advanced modeling tools offered by Autodesk. So we will compare AutoCAD as a 2D modeling tool with against or contrasting against the 3D CAD tools available in Autodesk products. So let's get started with the first subtopic for the day, which is the workspace as well as the view settings. So if you remember from yesterday, we stopped with AutoCAD 3D, discussing how to use AutoCAD to produce 3D models, and how can we uh, use certain AutoCAD features in providing a detailed drawing as we see on the model space. So, uh, in today's class, we are going to start with understanding one of the important concepts in AutoCAD, that is the workspace. So in yesterday, when we discussed the coordinates and the icons in your status bar, what happened was this is your model tab, and you can see this is your model space. And when you switch to the layout, this gets converted to paper space. Model space is an area, or it could be defined as a particular region in AutoCAD workspace that lets you add modeling elements. And layout tab is a paper space because it lets you add views to your paper that is to be plotted or printed as a part of your construction document. So if you are in your home tab, towards after your geometry icons and basic modify tools and annotation tabs, you can see layer properties. What are layer properties? So layer properties are nothing but it lets you manage the layers and layer properties. So for example, if you select the AutoCAD, we have certain layers such as door and door glass, and we have floor, and we have a layer for wall. So, for example, if you select this particular element and then click properties, you can see that this layer is assigned to a layer property called wall. So, why do we need layers? So, layers are essential because, for example, if I just want to turn on and just work on elements on the wall, I can turn off the curtain walls, I can turn off the glass elements, I can turn off the floor, all the other layers, and you can see that my model space is just left with wall elements. So if I need to make changes to my particular layer, I can make changes to my wall elements, and then I can go back and turn on all the other layer properties. And so it is not that you can only use predefined layers. For example, you can use the layer tab to create a new layer, and let me call it A3D to mark my 3D model elements, and I can assign certain color to it. Let me say I assign the color red to it, and then I am assigning all the line weight and everything to be default. And then you can see a green tick marked around the door layer, which just means that door is marked as current layer. And if you get back, and for example, if I'm adding a text element, which is just simple to show you. So if I'm adding a text, so I have added a text at an angle, but you can see that it has taken the color of the door layer. So if I set my current layer to A3D and then set OK, and then if I use the same text command, I say text, you can see that the two different text have taken the colors of different layer properties. So the good conventional practice in AutoCAD is that to control your layer properties by adding layer for, let's say, a text, and then you can add a layer for a tables, or you can add a layer for a annotations. So why is adding layer important? Because it lets you control the uh, the properties, and for like in a overall point of view, even though they remain as single objects in the group, it lets you work on a particular group in your workspace, and then you can select, double click a particular door to set a particular layer as a current layer. If you double click the AutoCAD 3D, it will be set as the current layer. And then if you set double click wall, wall will be set as your current layer. And then you can use the particular layer to add your model elements. And then when after layers, you can look different ways to let's say like access the layout tabs or the model space or the workspace. So if you hover over your file icon, you can see your model space and the paper space, and you can automatically select from this window, and it will be taking you to a corresponding window. Or you can choose to select from your bottom left corner of your CAD screen, and then this particular view will be adjusted to the current zoom panel. So AutoCAD offers you the same functionality from different locations. You can either choose to select from the top or bottom depending upon your convenience, or the way you have used CAD as a modeling tool. Like most people prefer to choose from the bottom, but in case if you are working on multiple files and you want to choose switch between two different workspace, you can use it from the top left corner of your CAD workspace. Similarly, once you have understood the properties of layer and the workspace, the other topic for discussion for today is going to be the view settings. So, what are view settings? So, we understood that while controlling the layer properties, clicking this turns off a particular layer elements, and then you are not able to see that particular layer. So view settings are quite similar to this, and you can group certain objects which need not necessarily be belonging to the same group or same attribute, but you can group them to control the visibility of those elements in your CAD workspace. For example, in this, you can turn on all that belongs to the wall element. Like for example, if I just turn off the floor, all the elements belong to floor attributes. But if I use my view settings to control the view properties, I can use to hide a certain wall and a floor if I group them to a view property. So we will learn how to use the view settings in AutoCAD. Before proceeding to view setting, you can see a cube located in the top right corner of your CAD workspace. So this is nothing but we will pay attention to the cube, view cube, and the navigation bar that we have in the right corner of our AutoCAD workspace. So they need not the view cube, the it need not be essential that it is located here. You can like let's say you can move your steering wheel span, or you can dock your position of the navigation bar to your top left, and then it will be switched here. Or you can to the bottom left, and then it will be moved to the bottom left, or you can dock it to the bottom right. So it depends on your convenience where you want to position your view cube. And by most standard, I would like to uh, dock my view cube back to top right, because I prefer to have it in the top right and my model space to be clean towards the left portion of my screen window. So one important concept to be covered while using view cube is it offers you multiple isometric views while working on a 3D space. So for example, we have this is a 3D file. Let me just navigate you to a 2D drawing to see. Yeah, so this is a 2D drawing, but if you click an isometric view, you can see that your drawing has been converted to an ISO view, but there are no 3D elements added to this model. Even then, it lets you add the views by navigating to different corners of the view cube. You can choose to see the left view or the bottom plan view, or you can go with the you can use the four arrows that are located to rotate your view cube to see the front, right, back, left, and then the top, and then you can use the arrows that are located to rotate your view cube, or you can choose particular corners of your view cube to navigate through your model. So if you see that this particular view cube offers no, let's say like no feature in your 2D modeling, but if you switch to 3D modeling, you can have a 3D view, or you can see how your plan view looks, or you can see how the frontal elevation of your 3D model looks like, and you can choose how the building looks from the right and the left, or from the front and the back, and you can choose to navigate the way the orientation the drawings are marked in your workspace. It will let you create certain elevation views and section views based on the way you set your view cube. And you can use your mouse to rotate your view model instead of just clicking on the view cube. When you hold right click and rotate your mouse, there's a pivot icon that appears in the center, and the model rotates about the center that you create, and that lets you to walk through how your model looks like from a 3D space. So these are certain ways you can control the view properties or the view settings in your CAD window. And if you pay more attention to the steering full navigation wheel, you can see that your models have converted to wireframe elements, and then you can either zoom, it pivots about a point and zooms to the modeling elements in your CAD window, or you can zoom out and a particular zoom icon. So you can use the main mini view object wheel, or you can use building wheel, or full navigation wheel, or basic wheels, view object wheel. So it just has center, it has zoom, it has rewind, and orbit. Orbit lets you pivot through the top, bottom of the view cube. It's basically it is without a version of. You can select view cube, and you can do the same phenomena without having to access your panel here. But still, this is another free functionality of AutoCAD icon that lets you orbit around the model that you have created. And pan, pan is nothing but it lets you push through the view window. There is a hand that it appears. It the graphics of the icons represents the functionality even more clearer. It is like it is grabbing the screen and pushing it towards right or left the way you move your cursor. Or you don't have to use pan uh, all the time. You can use your mouse and hold the roller button, and then you can push your screen towards right or left as you see fit. So AutoCAD offers multiple functionality. You can either use cursor to point out the icon and then achieve functionality, or you can use your mouse tools to provide some certain settings and then uh, pan through the window. And the other icon that offers is zoom extends. So zoom extend is the window is covered up to the way you have added modeling elements to. So for example, if you add zoom it to the minimum and then if you click zoom extends, you can see that this has covered the entire contents of your model space to your window. And if you zoom to close and you want to get back to your previous view, if you click, it zooms back to the fit screen of the CAD workspace. And then this is nothing but a, orbit icon. So you can either select orbit from here or you can choose this tool to orbit your model to see how it is, how you have modeled the element from a 360-degree view of the AutoCAD workspace. And this is slow motion. So AutoCAD has developed over years to provide on-screen display for creating and playing cinematic camera animation for design review, presentation, and bookmark style navigation. So these are the icons we will be discussing while we are presenting the drawings. Once we cover all the other technical concepts, we will be learning how to present our drawings, and we will be discussing how to use these view settings to create slow motion or animation for the workspace that we have created. So now we have covered the view cube and the navigation toolbar. One another toolbar that we need to cover is the home tab. So you can see if you click, I have navigated my workspace to the top view of the 3D model. But then if you click this home icon, you can see that the drawing automatically transfers to the isometric 3D view because it's a 3D drawing. So now what you can do is if you want to set your plan view as let's say the default view, you can go to the home tab, go back to top view, and then right click it and then set current view as home. And then if you navigate back to some other view, and then if you click home tab, you can see that your home view has been redefined. So you can control which particular view you want to set as home view for your model space or a paper space. And if you get back to the layout tab, you can see that the view is still retained to the 3D view because this is something dependent upon the viewport that you have configured. But your layout 2 has a different view, which is the current home view. So what happens is we need to define certain view properties. So when you select view cube and then you have the top left corner of AutoCAD, you have view controls. It provides access to certain standard views and the custom views that you have created in your AutoCAD workspace. So if you click it, you have like you can access all the 8 or 10 different views offered by the view cube. So if it is as similar to accessing the southeast isometric or this particular icon from the AutoCAD view cube, or selecting left or choosing the top and back or the left from the AutoCAD view space. So now we will stick to the standard workspace created from the view cube, and now we will discuss certain viewport configurations using the 2D drawings, because we want to group certain elements that we have created in this drawing. So if you select here, you don't have any custom model views created. And then if you click View Manager, you can select model views, and then you can say New, and then I can call it as General Workspace to define the workspace created for the employees. And then let me say that I want to define view window.